So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I'm very excited to be hosting this webinar as we discuss the Cambridge International Curriculum. It's very important for us to understand the Cambridge International Curriculum, as it is one of the best curriculums in the world. And we're going to be talking about what is the Cambridge International Curriculum and how is it beneficial to us, or should I say our children. So for those of you who have children that are wanting to study the Cambridge International Curriculum, or you yourself want to study it, then you are at the right place. All right, so let's dive in. Let me just quickly introduce myself. So as I said in the beginning, my name is Samara Kluta, and I'm an academic consultant with Ivy Academy. And Ivy Academy is a Cambridge International Institute. We are associated with Cambridge International, and we provide tuition for various Cambridge courses. Okay, so the brief overview of our webinar today. Okay, so firstly, we're going to be discussing the benefits of a Cambridge International education. Then we're going to be talking about understanding the different Cambridge International levels. So a lot of us in a traditional sense of schooling, we know it as grades, but in Cambridge, it's referred to as levels. And then thirdly, we're going to be talking about the Cambridge methodology and what that methodology focuses on. Then we're going to dive a little bit into thinking about university, which I think is the most important topic. And then just a little bit about Ivy Academy, who we are, and our various offerings. And then we're going to have a Q&A at the end. So if you do have a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat box, and then I will answer them to the best of my ability at the end of the webinar. All right, let's get right in. All right. So the benefits of a Cambridge education. So the British curriculum, which is the Cambridge International Curriculum, is the most successful and widely used curriculum in the world. So wherever you go, almost any country, they will recognize the Cambridge International Curriculum. A-levels, which is, I will discuss levels a bit later in the webinar. A-levels is advanced levels. So when I say A-levels, I'm also referring to AS levels. So AS and A-levels are thought of as gold standard qualification across the globe, and are still the main entry route for students for global universities. So just keep that in mind about the A-levels. So I'll dig a little bit more into A-levels later on. And then with the Cambridge International Curriculum, flexible programs are provided, and this enables teachers to use examples from various local contexts and cultures. So it doesn't limit the curriculum or the content taught to a specific culture or country. It is global. So it has a global outlook, which is extremely important in the 21st century. And then fourthly, the examinations provide students with more than an excellent foundation for tertiary studies. This is extremely important. It is so important to provide your kids with an educational curriculum that actually prepares them for university studies, which we can't say much of many curriculums, I dare say. So this is highly important. So once students apply to universities and they actually begin their studies, they feel a lot more comfortable and prepared. They are, they're taught how to critically think and assess situations and so on. And then lastly, Cambridge qualifications are accepted and valued by employers and universities around the world. So this is not limited to a specific country, or should I say in the UK. It's a globally recognized curriculum. And various universities that recognize this curriculum, obviously Cambridge University and others like MIT, Harvard, Oxford, and various other celebrated South African universities. So just a brief touch on Ivy Academy. We are based in South Africa, but we do provide tuition, Cambridge tuition, for students on a global basis. All right. Okay, let's have a look at some stats. So in 2018, we found that 8%, only 8% of 100% did not go to university. 92% did attend university, and that is an extremely large number. That is a very high percentage. So we are very proud of that. So that just in itself tells you that, you know, the Cambridge curriculum not only prepares students for university, but it instills in them a passion for studies. So we'll dig more into that a little bit later. Okay, some more benefits of the Cambridge education. So with Ivy Academy, our Cambridge programs focus on enhancing certain soft skills. And one of the most important is critical thinking skills, which is very much needed for tertiary studies. And these kind of soft skills, you know, help students develop deep subject knowledge, conceptual understanding, and higher order thinking. So students can join at any stage, and they can work at their own pace as well. Alternatively, students can opt for a full schooling program, which we do offer, where they can follow certain guidelines or syllabus, and they can, we make sure that they stay on track, not fall behind, and just work at a very good pace. And students, which is so, I love this point, students can choose the subjects that they actually love, that they are passionate about, that they are good at. And this is very important. So I know with some curriculums or educational systems around the world, this is not the case. So they might be forced to take a certain amount of subjects or certain subjects. And some students have strong suits in some subjects, others not. So this is important. So this makes studying a lot more exciting for students. Okay, so just to dig a little bit into critical thinking skills, why is this important? Why does Cambridge International place such an emphasis on critical thinking skills? So firstly, a person with critical thinking skills can suggest innovative solutions and ideas. How important is that? This is not only important for university studies, this is important for the workforce. So it prepares them for the workforce. A person with critical thinking skills can suggest, that can solve complex problems using logic and reasoning. They can evaluate arguments using logic, reason, as I've mentioned, rather than emotions to collect pros and cons of the situation. And lastly, a person with critical thinking skills can be open-minded towards the best possible solution. So people with strong analytic thinking capabilities will be needed to navigate the human-machine collaboration continuum for improved labor productivity. So we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. So the critical thinking skills helps to build that relationship between machine and human soft skills, which is very much needed. And providing responses to problems to facilitate effective decision-making. This is vital in the fourth industrial revolution. All right, let's talk a bit about understanding the different Cambridge International levels. I'm sure most of you have heard of A levels, IGCSE, but you're not exactly sure what it means. When do I have to take that level? When is it before or after? So let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, so at Ivy Academy, we begin with a Cambridge Lower Secondary course. And this course is for grades 7 to 9. It's suitable for grades 7 to 9 or students aged 11 to 14 years. So students, it's not to say that students younger or older cannot take this course, but this is the most suitable age. Okay. So Ivy Academy's dedicated team of experts designed a 2-year course that encompasses a lower secondary curriculum content. For those who are familiar with American curriculums, this can also be known as junior high. So this course actually provides the learners with an excellent foundation and preparation for Cambridge Upper Secondary, also known as the Cambridge IGCSEs. I'm sure most of you have heard of IGCSEs. Can I just ask everyone to just mute their mics from their side? That would be much appreciated. Okay, and then lastly, the Cambridge Lower Secondary prepares students to excel in the lower secondary diagnostic assessments. And these are scheduled twice a year, May or October, November, so it's quite flexible for students. Okay, all right, now let's talk about the Cambridge IGCSE. So this is one of the world's most popular international qualifications for 14 to 16-year-olds, or grades 10 to 11. And at this specific level, students start to choose electives. So at the lower secondary that we've just discussed, they focus more on mathematics, English, and the sciences, these three major subjects. And once they get to IGCSE, they branch out into other subjects or other electives that they enjoy. So this could be physics, chemistry, business studies, economics, etc. And just so you know, I know a lot of you think, but don't they need to start before grade 10 to prepare them for that grade 10 and 11 level? Not exactly. And the reason why is because everything is covered from the basics of foundation all the way up to advanced. So the Cambridge IGCSE level serves as preparation for that advanced AS and A level. So ensuring learners achieve their best results to obtain a certificate of exemption. So this is normally that certificate of exemption. I think most South Africans are familiar with this. Is you would submit your results to the Department of Education, and they would give you equivalence certificate, matric equivalent certificate based on your results. Okay, so at this level, we provide students with a Cambridge benchmark assessment. This is with Ivy Academy at the end of the course, so that we can see where they are at. Are they ready to sit that quite difficult Cambridge IGCSE exam? Okay, let's talk about Cambridge International AS and A levels. This is your most advanced level in Cambridge International. And this is suited typically for students between the ages of 16 to 19. It is known as a grade 12, can even be a grade 13 if students complete A levels as well. So this at this level, this prepares them for higher education and university entrance. They will need to take subjects at this level. Some universities do accept IGCSE levels only, but then you need to contact that university and find out from them what the minimum requirements are. And this goes the same for AS levels and A levels. So each university, or country should I say, has a standard when it comes to the British curriculum. So over 575,000 entries at least a year from over 130 countries. So these students are taking AS and A levels. So AS and A levels provide the essential depth of study required for tertiary studies, especially for those wanting to pursue career-based courses. So exams can be taken at the end of the course, and they can be either June or October, November, same as the IGCSE in lower secondary. So it's quite flexible. So if a student starts in June, they can write the next year June, or if it's a 2-year course, 2 years after that, they don't need to write one. There's not one exam sitting a year. So obviously this is the last and final level, and yeah, it's really highly recommended for students to take at least AS levels. All right, what is the Cambridge methodology? So we keep talking about how Cambridge International is one of the best curriculums in the world, but why? So as I mentioned before, one of the reasons are because we teach students critical thinking skills and not just parrot learning, which is normally a traditional school learning style or methodology. So what is the Cambridge methodology? So Cambridge programs combine an emphasis on mastering subjects in depth with the development skills for study and the workforce. So deep subject knowledge, as well as a conceptual understanding that helps students make links between different aspects of a subject. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the various soft skills are instilled in each student: critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, presenting of arguments. So a lot of case studies are also used in various subjects. So yeah, and these are transferable skills that will last a lifetime, from university study to the workplace, to even opening of businesses, everything. So it's very rewarding. Okay, let's think about university. Okay, so if you choosing a handful of random subjects to take at Cambridge, the AS and A levels, is not a decision to be taken lightly. Why do I say this? Because as mentioned before, each university has different requirements. However, there is a standard for certain courses. So I'm gonna brief you on that in a bit. Okay, all right, so number one, taking certain AS and A level subjects can open up more doors to future courses and universities. So yes, Cambridge International allows students to take a whole list of various subjects, but there are certain subjects that can be taken to enhance or to increase your chances of getting into most courses at university. Also keep in mind that even if you pass all these subjects, you also need to attain the correct grade to be accepted in a certain course. Okay, so these subjects that I'm going to be mentioning now, we call them facilitating subjects. And these are a handful of AS or A-level subjects commonly asked for at universities. And regardless of the course you're taking or applying for, this makes a good choice to keep your degree options open. As you can see in my list, English is one, biology, chemistry, mathematics, of course, various second languages, modern languages, as well as physics. So these subjects listed below, they are the safest subjects to take. And no matter what you study, if you get the correct grading, your chances are very high to get into that course. Okay, so number two. So certain university courses will look for specific Cambridge level subjects. And most of these specific subjects are the ones I've just mentioned. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples. Examples always help to better our understanding. So if you want to do a pharmacy degree or maybe medicine or whatever, you must at least take, obviously you'll need English as a first language or second language, depending on the university. And then you'll need, I would always recommend mathematics or chemistry or biology or physics. So you need to take at least 2 of those subjects in the science department, sciences. If you are looking for more an English literature or language degree, then it's normally just the language that's mostly important. So always make sure to take at least English language and make sure that you have the correct grading. The other subjects, they will require certain groupings. For instance, even if you have your English, you still need to take a subject from group 2 and group 3. Group 2 is normally your second languages. Group 3 is normally your various science or mathematical subjects. For instance, physics, biology, mathematics. And then the rest you can choose electives. Okay, if you want to study a geology or earth sciences, then similar to medicine or even engineering, you need at least 2 from the category of mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. So try to at least take 2. And then in your first and second groupings, English as well, and a second language. Most universities require that. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. If you want to study economics, then normally just from the first grouping, which is English, take a second language just to be safe, and 1 from the third grouping, mathematics, physics, biology. But you do not necessarily need to take economics or business studies. Try to at least take mathematics then. Okay. All right, so that was the brief on Cambridge International, how it all works, the various levels. And just a briefing, who is Ivy Academy and what are we and what do we offer? So as I've mentioned before, we are a registered Cambridge International Associate, and we do offer various Cambridge courses. So pursuing a Cambridge education through us ensures and safeguards the legitimacy of your Cambridge education. I just want to place emphasis that there are many online schools that offer the Cambridge curriculum, but they are not, in fact, a registered Cambridge associate. So just be careful there. And just to touch base, what does it mean to be a Cambridge associate? What it means is that we have access to Cambridge's secret garden, and we have a responsibility and accountability to Cambridge to uphold a certain standard. All of our teachers have to be qualified. They have to have Cambridge experience. Our syllabus is always up to date. So if you're with another online school that might not be registered, then it's not really fair on the kids, because you never know if they are teaching from the correct syllabus, the most recent updated syllabus. And also our content developers are highly qualified as well. And we use a gamification methodology or strategy. And this really makes learning fun, exciting. It helps students to retain that knowledge that they've learned, to enjoy the content that they're learning. And we include live classes as well. So it's interactive, and there are assignments that are computer-based as well as written assignments. So everything needed to prepare them for those very difficult Cambridge exam sittings. For those of you, I know some of you are tuition center owners joining today. So we do provide existing schools or tuition centers the opportunity to become affiliated with Ivy Academy, and we will be able to give you a customized, content guideline, and based on your school ethos and culture, etc. So we can provide an off-the-shelf product for you guys. Okay, and without the hefty investment of setting up your own online platform. So we do all of that for you. We have some of the best developers. Our content is world class. Okay, so the same with what our students would get. You would have access to the live online lessons, videos, ebooks, diagnostics, detailed reporting for schools, etc. All right, so we are nearly done for today's webinar. And a quick touchdown, we have upcoming courses. Our next one, we've recently closed our July intake. So our next upcoming course is in the 15th of September. So if you do want to register, try to register before then. And it this specific intake is open to the lower secondary, grade 7 to 9, and the Cambridge IGCSE grades 10 to 11. From January onwards, we will open again for AS and A-level students. Okay. So here are some contact details. You're welcome to write it down. For those who are international, please send us an email at info@ivyacademy.co.za. Please, for South Africans, give us a call on 011-551-9000. We're also on Facebook and social media. All right, so coming to the end of our webinar, does anyone have any questions for me? Please feel free to type your question in the chat box.
Hi, this is Shayan here. How are you doing?
Hi, Shayan. Well, and you?
Yeah, I'm good. Actually, I really liked your session. And really very good, very nicely you brief everything in detail. I really appreciate. I just have quick query that what is the fee structure? Like, how do you have to pay? Like, for example, my son, he is in A level. He's just finished his O levels. Now he will be joining A level. So he'll be taking 3 subjects like accounting, business, and economic.
Okay.
So what will be the fee for that? Like what are the fee structure?
Perfect. So tell me, Shan, thanks so much for your question. What level are you looking for? Is it for the IGCSE grade 10, 11 or for the ASA level? Sorry, I know
yes,
you mentioned AS level. Okay, so I'm going to give you the number in dollars. Where are you based currently, or what country are you based in?
Right now in UAE, Abu Dhabi.
Okay, perfect. If you don't mind, I'm going to give it to you in dollars. Okay, so per subject per year, you're looking at around $1,000. So that's per subject per year. What I can do is after the session, I can reach out to you And if you can just, yeah, don't worry, I've got your email address. I'll reach out to you and then we can discuss a quote. I can send you a quote and let you know, what's all involved in all of that. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And all subjects
Thank you.
are the same fees as well. So they're all the same fees. So you won't be getting different fee structures for that. Okay. Thanks so much for your question, Tan. Okay. We have a question. Thank you. What is the process transferring from a local school in South Africa to Cambridge? That is a very good question. Okay. So yes, it might be a jump from going from a normal South African school to a Cambridge International, but there isn't really a process. So what's great about the Cambridge International curriculum, unlike your South African curriculum, where you need a report from the previous year, you actually do not require a fixed report. If you feel like a student is ready for that IGCSE and AS levels, then they are welcome to jump on board. We do ask for latest report just so we can help assess where the student is at and all of that. But yes, a lot of our students have actually transferred from the normal South African curriculums to Cambridge, and they are enjoying it very, very much. And they're enjoying it because they're actually doing work that makes their brains tick, lets those creative juices flow. So they're really finding it fun. And the other thing is, I know a lot of people are worried about, is the work going to be the same and all of that. So you do not need to worry about that. If they start at an IGCSE level, all the work, all the content is started from the like I mentioned before, from the basics or foundation phase. So I would recommend that they at least start from IGCSE before just jumping from CAPS to AS or A levels, to let them have that foundation first. So thanks very much for that question, Fadela. Okay, then Consolata has a question from Kenya. Very welcome. Sorry, let me just get that question. Okay, so how much are the online classes and do you offer entry assessment? This is for junior high grade 7. Okay, so the fees are the same as the IGCSE. You're looking at around $1,000 or 9,000 Rand per subject per year. We do have monthly installments. So I will be happy to reach out to you after the webinar, and one of our consultants can send you a quotation. Okay. And do you offer entry assessment? We do not offer entry assessment, but what we do ask is that a student at least sends a report so that an academic consultant can view the report and see what curriculum they've done and see if they would be ready for that. Okay. Also, to everyone who's attending the webinar, we also give tour guides of our platform. So if you're wanting to register, we will give you a tour guide, one of our academic consultants, and we'll show you how the structure of each lesson on the platform, how it works. We can show you a timetable, the live classes and all of that. Okay, thank you so much. Danny has a question. I have heard that students with the A's and A-level qualifications still struggle with the enrollment process in South African universities. Is this correct? And why is this? Okay, so this is interesting. Most prestigious and some of the best universities in South Africa most definitely recognize the Cambridge qualification. If I can name one university, University of Pretoria, you can even go on their website. They literally have a brochure just for the Cambridge International qualification, stating what subjects are needed, what grades are needed at the various levels. And I would be more than happy to also give you a call and discuss further. But there are some universities, I would say, not very recognized, or should I say not very popular, that don't recognize the Cambridge curriculum. But the majority of universities in South Africa, the most popular ones, definitely do recognize the Cambridge curriculum. Okay, so I have one last question. My son is doing grade 10 next year and he does not like Afrikaans. Can the subject be dropped and something else be replaced? Most definitely. So we actually have, obviously we cannot cater for all the languages, but what we allow students to do is let's say they want to take another language like French or Spanish or We also offer Zulu, by the way. But if they want to take a language that we do not offer, they're welcome to do self-study, get the textbooks from Cambridge, and for those in South Africa, we can still help them register for that specific exam. So there's a whole list of second languages that students can take. So for instance, we have some students that are international. So they obviously don't take, Afrikaans or Zulu. So they do their own self-study, and then they take the rest of the subjects with us. I hope that makes sense. Okay, and then another question, I think, okay, my daughter's 15 years old and hoping to sit for O-levels next year. We recently pulled her out of school and wondering what support is available to help her prepare. Okay, perfect. Oh, thank you so much for your question, Harriet, from Nairobi. So, okay, so our tuition prepares students for that Cambridge exam sitting. I won't say we have a specific short program that prepares them for the sitting. The whole course prepares them for those Cambridge exam sittings, if that makes sense. So it's normally a 2-year period, but some students can do it in a year, if that's what you're asking. And then we do help, we help guide them and everything. We go through past papers. We literally do an assignment each week based on a past paper to help them mentally prepare for those difficult Cambridge exam sittings. Okay. All right, I hope I have answered all your questions. If not, I'm going to quickly put my email in the chat box. Please send me an email and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay. So my email is samara@ivacademy.co.za. Okay. Sorry, I just quickly wanted to say before we end the meeting, if you are not based in South Africa, because I see we have another question, where will the child write exams? There are Cambridge schools or exam centers almost in every country all around the world. So for those of you who are not based in South Africa, it will be your responsibility to find the closest Cambridge exam center to you, register for that exam. So we provide the tuition towards that exam. So when it comes time to write, then they can just go and write at the nearest Cambridge exam center closest to you. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Okay, so I think that is all the questions for today. I thank you everyone so much for joining today. Thanks for your questions. And I hope that it was informative enough. And yeah, please pop me an email if you have any more questions. Enjoy the rest of your week further. Take care. Bye, everyone.